Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the sports betting show hosted by a real statistics professor with a headache that's lasted for a long time. Cousin Jared, I'm going to need you to just do all the talking. So tell people how to make money because I think it's on the screen right there. The answer is pretty simple.
Yes, it is very straightforward. And the answer is you subscribe to Picks with the Professor on Dub Club. And for a very small price, you will be able to share in these profits. It will more than pay for itself in a night or two. And so we've got all sorts of sports, in the middle of baseball season right now. We got hockey just wrapped up. We're going to have college football coming pretty soon, NFL coming pretty soon. So yeah, hop on board. And this baseball thing, this train has been running for the past, 2 months? At this point,
Almost, yeah.
I mean, I've almost lost track. It's been going really well. So yeah, those are all the reasons you need to join. And, you get the community that comes with it over on Discord. Lots of good perks to joining.
Yeah, very well said. Everyone, by the way, I just put him on the spot there. I did not warn him I was going to do that. So he just kind of came up with it off the cuff. But you can see there, folks, there's $10 a week package. Just sign up for $10. And if you're $10 better, if you're more than $10 better, I mean, my God, how much money you've made is insane. And these are just the A grade picks here, the my top picks. Look at that, 6 straight winning weeks of those. The play of the days had, 8 straight winning weeks or something ridiculous. Yeah. And you can see these sample sizes. These are not small sample sizes here. So it's not like it's fluky, people. This is real stuff here. And we lose a lot of picks. That's the way it goes. But, if you're spreading your money around, the money's growing. We're watering it. It's getting a lot of sun.
Yep.
We put the fertilizer on, and the money's growing. So Cousin Jerry went through all of these benefits. Every single game has a pick or a lean to give you an idea of what to play for. First 5, full game total, and slide that QR code there or the link in the show description. Again, there's a weekly package for just $10 a week if you're interested. And once you make $100 in a week, then stick around because we're making you money, and you want to make $100 the next week too. It's that simple, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you get just with baseball, you get weather, you get how the lineup does against lefties versus righties. You get all sorts of detailed information that you don't get just us here on the show. We talk about it, but in a visual format where you can actually go line by line and see every piece of information. It's good stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of information over there on Dub Club. Just some quick reminders here. Pickstheprofessor.com/new will get you information about the community and the model. This is a player-based model, so the ratings reflect the current roster, not necessarily the team's ranking of where they are this season, because injuries, trades, etc., affect that. The average grade is 100. Higher implies more runs, so you don't want that if you're a pitcher. You do if you're a hitter. We are projecting an average game. One game, we have no idea. We talk about it all the time. Weird things happen in one game, but we have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in the average game, and that's how we win money, because when we say 55%, we mean 55%. It's going to win 11. It's going to lose 9. We don't know which ones, but we know if 55% is accurate, and the model is shown to be pretty accurate, we know exactly what prices to bet in order to make long-term profits. And that's what we have shown here repeatedly. Of course, as always, they'll take what you like and leave the rest. I've got one pick for you here, Rockies and White Sox. Cousin Jared, what we did here was I went through all the A-grade picks here overnight, the ones I like the best. I started them up on a platter sheet. I said, which one do you want to talk about? And you said this one. This was your favorite option here. And weather-wise, it's going to be pretty normal, low 70s, slight breeze in, might be slightly pitcher-friendly, but it's not really about the weather. It's not really about the pitchers. Neither one of these pitchers are great, Dakota Hudson and Andrew Thorpe. Dakota Hudson's ERA is a little inflated because of course, but he's not good. Andrew Thorpe, 3 starts now, not great underlying metrics. Decent prospect, though. He's probably better than those numbers look. That last start really got away from him. Neither one of these sets of relievers is very good, but these offenses are terrible, and my hunch is that's why you like under 8.5 here as the model projects 7.5. Because Jared, tell us more.
Well, anybody who's been with us for any length of time knows that I can't pass up a good under. I am also I think back to our first few years of college football when we had all of the different categories of games that we had. And, our favorite one was you don't have to watch them to make the monies. Yep. And this 100% falls into that category. Please, unless you are a hardcore White Sox or Rockies fan, do not watch this game.
Even if you are, you don't have to.
That's true. There are other things that you could be doing. I was actually in Chicago earlier this week. First time I had been there, enjoyed it, thought it was great. So, if you don't want to sit through a game between the Rockies and White Sox, I recommend going out and experiencing Chicago if you're not from the area. But yeah, I look at this and you're like, okay, well, the pitchers, not great. Can't argue with that. Relievers, not great. Can't argue with that. The thing is, though, with pitching, like you really just need one guy to have a decent night, and they can limit the number of runs, whether that's a starter, get a couple of good innings out of your bullpen. Like you really just need one or two guys to have decent nights, and you can still limit the number of runs scored. On offense, you're usually going to need more than one guy to have a good night. And I think the odds of both of these teams being able to put together a decent amount of runs is not looking good. So could a team score 7 runs in this game? Maybe. It could easily end up being 7-1 or 6-2 or something like that. I have no faith in either of these teams to consistently put up runs. Could this be a situation where there's 10 runs in this game, and then the next 2 games in this series end up having 6 runs or 7 runs, 5 runs, whatever
combined?
Yeah, that is 100% possible.
Yeah.
But I think that with a play like this, you're probably going to win it 2 out of 3 times. And we've talked about many times, this is a math show almost more than anything. And so those are good odds. We'll take it at minus 115. So I really just can't pass up the opportunity to fade 2 bad offenses like this. We talked about it before. You just don't get very many opportunities like this.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head there with what we talk about at the start of every show, right? One game is unpredictable. So like this game could have a ton of runs, and the next 2, might not. We don't know about that, of course. We just saw the White Sox play the Braves this afternoon in a 1-0 game. We did a show a couple days ago, and I gave up the White Sox and the Dodgers under, which I think finished like 4-3 or something. We had under 8.5, and it was the same sort of thing. And the first 5 under hit there. And I'll say the same thing I said then, and I'll say it here. The White Sox bullpen is not good. It's actually looked half competent maybe the last month, but the model still thinks it's terrible. Of course, the Rockies spin isn't good either. So if you want to take first 5 under, go for it. Of course, as always, make sure the number is pretty reasonable, but like that's not a bad play as well. And if you want to double up or split your wager or whatever, that's not crazy. But what I'm going to say here is what I said last show, which is I have noticed looking back through the records that I have done not a great job of picking, of subsetting the A grades from the full game totals. And I think it's largely because this has been a total that I would have passed on. I would have been like, 8.5. I just hate it. I can't go under 8.5. I need that 9 because I'm thinking about key numbers and stuff. And I'm thinking, I'm just outthinking myself and just got to go, hey, look, that's a massive differential. Don't worry about the 9. Yes, this game might get to 4-4, but there's way many other possibilities that happen where we win this then the 4-4 screws us. And so I'm not going to overthink ourselves. It's not rocket science. These offenses are terrible. And these pitchers, bad pitching, bad hitting, in a, slightly wind blowing in run of the mill park, like you said, I think the pitching is going to win in today's day and age because if you're not hitting a bunch of home runs, you got to have a whole, 4 singles and you might only get 1 run off of it, right? In 1 inning. And it's like, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have some of that where the offense just aren't good enough to get it going, or a handful of runners every inning. But like I said, they need so many guys to come through to score a bunch of runs, and that doesn't seem overly likely. So we're on under 8.5 in the Rockies and White Sox team model projects 7.5. That's it for today. Because Jared, your party words. What do you want to say about that? I'll give you the last word.
Well, I was going to ask, in college football, we've talked about like a lot about, can sideline really interpret the results correctly or project correctly when you get 2 offenses that play really fast or 2 offenses that play really slow. And we haven't talked a lot about that in baseball, but that's just something that crosses my mind here. Like when you've got 2 offenses that are this bad, kind of up and down the lineups, like is sideline really capable of predicting how bad these 2 offenses are? Anyway, you don't have to answer the question, just something that crossed my mind.
Right. I think just to make it clear for the viewer, too, the implication being that maybe the projection should even be 7.2 or 6.8 or something like that, because there's a possibility there's an interaction effect that drags it down even more than what we've been able to see. I don't think that's the case for the most part with baseball, just because baseball is, an individual sport masquerading as a team sport as opposed to football, which is not. But if nothing else, it can't hurt us. So again, under for Rockies, White Sox, our play here for today. Again, you got the play of the day, which is a different pick over on Dub Club, and a bunch of other A-grade plays, a bunch of other top model picks as well. Hit that link up in the show description, that QR code there, and sign up again. $10 a week, $35 a month, and you will make it back in no time with how well we do with baseball. Otherwise, though, as always, thank you for watching. We wish you the best of luck. And as always, remember that you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.